down from the ledge here. Not the ledge. How excited should I be about Jordan Wicks? The Cubs need a starting pitching boost. They need somebody to come up and Jordan Wicks strikes out 9 in his debut. Yeah. Shades of Mark Pryor.
They desperately needed that, right? With Drew Smyly, they put him in the bullpen. He comes back. He gets beat up again. And look, Smyly was great for them early on in the year, right? He was exactly what they needed. His struggled. He's going to work out of the bullpen the rest of the way. Wicks is a guy they need, right? Like, they need that. And it kind of feels like postseason vibes are starting already for the Cubs. You look at the stretch over the next couple of weeks here, you're playing all teams that are competing for a playoff spot, including the Milwaukee Brewers. So, regardless of however this final month plays out, I know fans don't want to hear this. What a ride the Cubs have provided all of us, man. Like, this has been so much fun to watch a team that maybe some of us thought around 500.
But you want them to get to the playoffs now.
I know. I was going to get there. Nobody wants it. No one's like applauding them yet just for a somewhat entertaining season. But like, think of, and these tight games, right? Like most of these games lately, they've been finding ways to win. Anytime the Cubs have fallen behind late, I'm just like, they're going to find a way. They are going to find a way in the bottom of the frame or whatever they are. They're going to find a way to get back into this. That lineup is dynamic. It's pretty deep. Bellinger's having, if he stayed fully healthy, an MVP type year. I like the lineup. We'll see how if Wicks can continue to do what he did in his debut. That is huge for the Cubs down the stretch. But buckle up, because these next few weeks, this is going to be like playoff baseball for the Cubs the rest of the way.
There's two things you can lean on with this team. It's that they can play top-tier defense, which is a huge, huge asset at this time of the season, and it's that they have those late-inning guts that you mentioned. It's not just Tauchman making the catch in St. Louis to win the game. It's not just
Christopher Morel over the White Sox. What a moment.
But it's those 2 wins that you got in Detroit that could have very easily been losses and sent you down a path that you didn't want to go down. And those late inning guts mean something. As this team is trying to open a new window, right, to contend for years, you have to start to gain those experiences. You have to start to learn how to play under pressure.
Good news is they're winning one-run games. The bad news is they're playing one-run games. That bullpen's taxed.
It's tough, but you got to tip your cap to guys like Ross, up to the front office, because all season long, what they've been doing, opposite of what the White Sox is, having the ability to bring up young players that can contribute to the team, whether it works out or not. Whether you're talking about Mervis, Jared Young, but you got Assad, you got Wicks that are coming in. They've done everything they possibly can to give Rossi the best lineup or team that he can put out there. And a lot of people have been complaining about Rossi's lineups all year long, but he's finally settled in. You got Tauchman at the top. You got your Horner, Happ, Bellinger. People will say things about Happ, but he comes through when he needs to. So again, I think they're in the best position to put out the best product they possibly can.
They're playing 667 baseball in August, and as Kevin mentioned, these next 14 games are all against teams that are in the playoff hunt. So now you're going to start to get that big game feel and see what they're made of in these moments where you need to generate momentum.
And these tight games over the past couple weeks haven't been against very good teams, too. So things
they play to the level of their competition, like a lot of teams.
Yeah, I'm not saying they've beaten good teams this year. Absolutely. I mean, they took Atlanta, they took 2 or 3 at Wrigley. There's been plenty of instances. I'm not saying they can't beat good teams, but they've kind of been. It's been a little scary for the Cubs over the past couple of weeks. They have found ways to win, and they're playing winning baseball. But again, you got some big hitters coming up here.
I think we've been surprised, but maybe we shouldn't have been. They spent $300 million on free agents in this past offseason.
Did you expect it to be this?
Well, I think that I didn't necessarily expect it to be this. I hoped for this because the last 2 Julys were so difficult. The trade-offs. What they did at the trade deadline this year was they bought 60 more games of relevance. And everybody can enjoy that and appreciate that.
It's more than 60 more games of relevance. It's a building experience for what they want to be up the road. At the trade deadline, when everyone's saying, if you're not going to win the World Series, then sell. No, if you're not going to win the World Series, get experience learning how to be in moments.
Winning.
The 2016
winning
Cubs
culture.
won the World Series in part because the 2015 Cubs won that playoff game in Pittsburgh to get that postseason experience.
Can you make the playoffs without Marcus Stroman?
Yes. Gabe, he's won 1 game since London. Yes, you can. They've been good. Yeah. They've been this good in August, and he hasn't thrown a pitch. If you think I'm excited about Jordan Wicks, wait until they call it PCA. Pete Crow Armstrong's going to put us over the top.
I love the direction they're headed. And it's like, it was pretty obvious when it got closer to the deadline. Of course, you don't trade Bellinger or tear apart the roster or anything like that. We also don't know where Bellinger is going to be playing next year. This dude is playing himself into a massive contract. I would love to see him remain with the Cubs, and Stroman might not be back. But I just love the way this team competes.
Yep.
I know we can dissect numbers and all of that, but they do
it's
just
fun
have
to
a
watch.
little bit of a grit to them, right? They like to fight back anytime they fall behind. You get that anticipation of like, okay, who's coming up next? Like,
September right around the corner, and college football has arrived, and we will talk about that next on The Reporters, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Jordan Wicks giving up a home run on the second pitch.
Yeah.
I was
And settle
first
back
thing
down.
disastrous.
I felt terrible. They showed his family